I do not know why, but I think that what's in my camera bag videos are some of the most entertaining content on YouTube. So with that being said, it is time for What is in my camera bag 2023 edition. What's up guys? If you're new here, my name is Eric. I'm a photographer originally from Boston, Massachusetts. For the last few years, I've been over here in Bangkok, Thailand, and I do mainly travel videos, travel photos. If you want to check out my Instagram, I will put that in the description below. I also have another YouTube channel called The Endless Voyage. You can check that out for my adventures in Thailand. And today I want to walk you through what is in my camera bag, what do I travel around beautiful Thailand with, what gear do I take. Let's go. Oh, and by the way, before we get started, if you are a wedding photographer or if you like to shoot a lot of travel content, I have so much stuff coming up on this channel I think you're gonna love. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. All right, so to start things off, I am using the WANDRD PVKE 31 liter. Now I use this as my heavy duty camera bag when I want to pack it out a lot. I have a smaller bag that I use every day, just working, going to cafes and whatever. I've done videos on all of these bags that I use. I'm going to put those in the description below. So if you are in the market for a new bag, check those out down below. If you're not familiar with the WANDRD PVKE, it's a really popular bag. It has a roll top design. It's got this G clip that comes undone and these top handles that come apart, and you can expand this area and have a ton of extra room in the top. So that's really handy when you're traveling, especially when you're on and off planes or whatever, because you can shove an extra sweatshirt in there, you can shove food in there, any stuff that you need sometimes, but not all the time while you're traveling. It's perfect to go in this expandable top section. The outside of the bag is made out of this tarpaulin material. It's super water resistant. This is great for all weather travel. Whether I'm on the beach, if I'm on a boat, if I'm caught in a rainstorm, this stuff is the hero. I love this material. I wish I can make my clothes out of this material so that I don't get wet when I get caught in those Thailand monsoons. Looking at the top of the bag really quick, there's an outer pocket here that runs the whole length of the bag, and it's pretty flat, but it is really helpful for storing just whatever random thing. So I keep my computer charger in there, and if I have any other random piece of gear, for example, I've got this little tripod I use for vlogging. You could even stick that in there, but you can't really fit anything too bulky in there. You're probably not gonna put a drone in there or anything. Just kind of whatever stuff you have on hand, you can throw in there for the time being. So I kind of like having this one big catch-all thing on the back that's easy to access. It helps a lot when you're running around and you're just trying to get to the next location and you want to throw some gear in your bag. Speaking of this thing, this is the PGY Tech Mantis Pod Pro, and I love this thing for vlogging. It's so small and lightweight. Before I used this, I used a Joby Gorilla Pod, but to be honest, the Gorilla Pod I found to be very heavy, and it was kind of annoying to set up when you wanted to get shots on a table. This thing, the legs just come apart, and it can just sit on the table very easily like this. And when you're done, you just fold it up and go. And then there's a button here that lets you adjust the angle. And there's even a feature that you can make this longer. I don't know if I remember how to do it now, but you can make this twice as long if you want the extra length. Yeah, I love this thing. I use it pretty much every time I go out to vlog and to take photos or time lapses. Highly recommend this if you're a blogger. One good thing about this bag is that the water bottle pocket lays flat against the bag until you need it. And then you can just unzip it like this and it pops open with an elastic. And the reason this is cool is because you can fit a pretty big water bottle in here or a tripod. You can strap the tripod to the side. But if you have something smaller, like this little Mantis Pod, you can zip it halfway closed and then slide it in like that, and it stays tight against the bag. A lot of other camera bags, you can't do this because the pocket, when it's open, it's just so big that it doesn't hold a small item like this tight, and so there's a good chance that it can fall out. But with this bag, because the zippers open and close, you can make it tight, you can make it kind of medium, or you can make it really loose for bigger objects. All right. So you will notice that I do not actually have that much in this bag. I used to use the Lowepro Pro Tactic 450 AW2. I think that's the full name. And that is a beast of a camera bag. It holds so much. But I just wanted something a little different coming into this year. I wanted to change it up. I wanted to see what other bags could offer. And so I got this one. And while I love the overall design for travel, it has a lot of great features for travel. It can't hold as much as some of the other camera bags that I've used in the past. And that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're traveling, because like when I had the low pro bag, I would just pack it out so much and it was so heavy and it made it hard to travel. Now I carry less stuff, but I feel like I'm more intentional with what I bring. And I think it just helps me be a little more efficient and maybe enjoy my travels a little more. This is the essential camera cube. There's also what they call the pro camera cube, which goes the whole length of this bag, including this top section. But right now I just have the essential camera cube, which is just this bottom section. So let's start in the main compartment of the bag. I usually put my A7 IV right in here, which is my main camera, and it usually has the 16-35 attached to it. That's the G Master lens 2.8. It's a pretty beefy lens. It's actually one of the biggest lenses I have, and it's heavy. So that usually goes in right in here attached to the camera. Lately, I've been using this Sony mic, which is the ECM B10, I believe. It is very handy because you don't need to connect it to the audio jack. It just connects digitally through the hot shoe mount. That's really cool. But to be honest, this is an expensive mic, and I don't think it sounds as good as my Rode Video Micro, which is a really cheap mic. I've had it forever, but for some reason, that mic just does its job, especially in high winds. I noticed this thing does not perform well in high winds, but my Rode Video Micro does a great job in wind. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I think I need to test it a little more before I make a final decision, but for now, I've been using it. Then coming over to this compartment, so this is pretty much empty right now, but this is normally where I would put my 24-70 G Master lens. I'm actually shooting on that one right now too. And that is another big lens, big and heavy lens. And one thing I don't like about this bag is that it's not very deep. And because of that, something like the 24-70 or the 16-35, if you stand it up, it actually sticks out a tiny bit from the top. And when you close this, it actually hits the lid of the bag, which isn't a big deal necessarily, except if you have a computer in here and this bag is fully loaded, I get kind of nervous that like any weight could damage the computer because it's such like a small point on the lens, putting pressure on the computer. So I haven't had any problems, but that's just kind of on my mind. So if I can, I will lay the lens down in here. But like I said, I'm shooting on it right now, so it's not in here. And then the top-down camera is actually got the 16-35 on. All right, coming over here, the corner, I've got the little 35 1.8. I actually used to take my 55 1.8 around a lot, but because I'm doing a lot more travel content now and I want to be able to show more of the environment, I've been taking the 35 1.8. And I love this thing just because it's so small and lightweight. I actually sold this and I got the G Master 35 1.4. And while the quality is amazing, I just felt the extra size and weight is just made it that I didn't want to take it with me so much. And not to say that lens, that G Master 35 is heavy, because it's really not. But compared to this thing, this is like nothing, and I don't mind just throwing it in the bag at all times. So I actually got this one back again, and it lives right here. Right in the bottom here, I've got my trusty Mavic Mini 3 Pro. I just picked this thing up. I actually also own a Mavic Air 2S, and while I love the quality of that drone, I just felt like the size was a little big for me. And also the thing I really hate about the Mavic Air 2S and some of the previous drones is that you need a separate charge cable with you in order to charge the battery. You can't just plug in the drone and charge the battery in the drone. This one you can just plug in a USB-C cable to this and plug it in to your computer or a wall outlet or whatever. And that just saves so much weight and extra cable. And honestly, even if the quality wasn't as good, I would rather have a smaller drone where I don't need to take a separate charge cable rather than have to take so much more stuff with me. So that goes right in here. So again, with this, I wish that I could stand it up like vertically like this, but I don't know if you can see, it does stick out a little. And so if the lid closes, it's gonna crush this. But it's little details like that I don't like about this bag, because I feel like it could fit so much more if it was just a little deeper. I know they make a larger size of this bag. They make a 41 liter size. This is the 31 liter, but the 41 liter is just gargantuan. It's just ridiculous. And so I feel like the 31 liter physically bag wise is the perfect size for traveling. So this is what I have. In the top here, there is a zippered compartment that you can open like this by ripping it open. Personally, I do not like this rip open design. On the Peter McKinnon Everyday Bag, they have like a magnet flap here, and I like that a lot better because I find that this just kind of gets in the way. I wish you could just roll this up permanently and keep it out of the way, but the problem is, as you'll see in a second, this is actually the pocket from the outside of the bag. So in the top here, I store just all kinds of random things. I have a little change purse because in Thailand, coins are very popular for money. I have just like whatever random things in here, like some hand sanitizer, anything I'll throw in there, sunglasses, AirPods, whatever, all goes in there. And because of that, when this gets full, it's actually harder to close and like open this because the pocket is this flat. So you can't roll it up permanently unless you don't want to use this, which obviously like you're going to want to have a pocket in the bag that you can put your stuff in. So it is what it is. I just accept it, but it is a little annoying to have to like open this every time you want to get into the top here. Usually I'm storing sort of random non-camera things, non-fragile things in the top here. So I've got this cable case that I pretty much take everywhere with me. I'll have to like go through my everyday carry another day, but I take this with me everywhere. It has all the essentials. I have another charger case I use to carry chargers and like cleaning stuff, things like that. I have the drone controller, and like that's something that could definitely go in this section if I wasn't taking a lens. What else is in here? Oh yeah, and I have another Rode microphone in here as well. So whatever kind of like random stuff that's not too fragile just gets thrown into this top section. Like I said before, you can get the Pro camera cube that extends into this section, but honestly, I felt like the camera cube itself, like the outer walls and stuff, take up so much space in the compartment. It's not worth it because you lose so much space. So unless you had something really fragile that you wanted to store in here, I don't recommend getting it. I recommend if you're going to use this bag, just use this top compartment kind of as it is and just try to throw things in there like this or like this that, you know, can get bumped around a little. Coming up to the lid of the bag. So this is one of the things I love and hate most about this bag. So this bag has a laptop compartment. This particular size, the 31 liter, can hold up to a 16-inch MacBook Pro, I believe. This is a 14-inch MacBook Pro, and it fits in there just fine with extra room. But one thing I don't like is that it has this bungee strap right here that you need to undo and redo every time you take it out of the bag. And I just feel like if you're going in and out of your bag for your computer a lot, this can really slow you down and it's kind of annoying. That being said, I understand why they have it, because when you flip open your bag, if it didn't have some sort of strap, your computer would fly out. And actually, while I was setting up for this video, that's exactly what happened. I forgot the computer was in there. I didn't have this strap. And when I opened the lid, my MacBook just flew out onto the floor. So yeah, this thing can definitely be a lifesaver, as annoying as it is. There's also a second pocket right here that's fleece lined for an iPad. So I have an iPad Pro, but I'm actually using it right now to monitor the camera. So that would normally go right in here too. And that's kind of cool that you have both a compartment for your computer and for your iPad. When I'm traveling, I love that because I can use my iPad to watch like videos on the plane. I can also use my iPad as a second monitor with my MacBook. So love taking that around. And in addition to that, there are a few pockets here. So you've got two small ones and one kind of like long, skinny one. And in here, I just put like cleaning cloth. I think I have an air tag in this one. Yeah, air tag, ND filters in here. And in the bottom pocket here, I've got some extra propellers for the drone, a USB flashlight that is super helpful. Also because it's got kind of this, I don't know what you call this, but it's like LED, like wide light on it. So if you are like in a dark place, you need to like pack your camera bag or whatever, if you're on a dark beach or if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you need to see everything in your bag, this thing can be a lifesaver. I've used this at a ton of weddings at the end of the night to make sure my bag is fully packed. But yeah, just some like drone accessories. I've got a spare SD card. So if I ever forget an SD card, if I want one of my SD cards becomes corrupted or something and I need one last second, I've always got like a emergency SD card in my bag here. I like these pockets, but I just wish they were a little bigger. I saw an interview with WANDRD where they said they purposely didn't make these very big because they didn't want them to get too bulky and then you close the bag and it crunches down on your delicate camera gear. So I appreciate that thought, but at the same time, I kind of wish that they just left it up to you to determine how to best pack your own bag, because I would love to have some bigger pockets here. Most camera bags, I would say, have like better organization in the lid here than this particular bag, but it is what it is. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that with the Mavic Mini 3 Pro, I picked up this controller. The first time I had this controller, I forgot the model, I'll put it here, but this is the one with the built-in screen, and boy, do I love this, because like before when I had the Air 2S, I just had like the regular controller where you needed to use your phone, and I found that so annoying. Like if I wanted to fly the drone, I'd have to like take my phone out, I'd have to connect it, do the whole thing. With this, I can just take the drone out, hit the power on, take the controller out, hit the power on, it connects in about 10 seconds, and then I am ready to fly. The only downside is this is a bit heavy. It's kind of funny because I think it's actually heavier than the drone itself, so that's a little annoying. They do sell an option where you can buy the old style controller with this drone. So if you really want to be ultralight, you can definitely go with that option. But in terms of usability, I love this thing. On the side here, there is a flap that opens. You have side access into the bag. And it's nice to be able to grab your camera out. Although I will say if you have a bigger camera like a Canon R5, or even I have the A7 IV, which isn't that big, this bag is not very tall, so it gets caught up on this lip quite a bit, and that's a little annoying, but it's just something I kind of deal with. One cool thing in the flap here is that there's a zipper compartment and little slots for batteries, and I love that WANDRD put this thought into the design. You can keep your batteries nice and organized in the side here. When you want to quickly get to them, it's easy, and then you can zip that up so they're so nothing falls out. Also on the outside of the bag here, there's a little, I think they call this the key garage. It's a little compartment with a key leash. You can see right now I've got this little keychain with some screwdrivers on it and also a hex key. And basically this is like all I need for camera gear, whether I need to attach like a tripod plate or another camera accessory. This usually gets the job done. So I always have a set of these with me. This pocket is also good for whatever other little things you have. Like I said before, AirPods or your wallet can go in there. Just super easy to like throw stuff in there when you're out and about and you just want to get stuff off your body and into the bag. And I should also mention that on the outside of the bag here, there's a secret passport compartment. So this is the luggage strap, and then right under it is a secret zippered pocket. So if you had like your passport or your wallet or like some documents or something that you didn't want people to easily find, that is a great place to put it, because if you don't own this bag, I would never think to look behind this for like a secret pocket. I think your stuff is going to be pretty safe in there. On the straps here, you may have noticed I have a Peak Design capture clip. I love this thing. I got this when I first started shooting photos, and it is one of my favorite accessories for my camera. If I'm walking around here in Thailand at a night market, or if I'm walking down the street, or if I get on the Sky Train, I'll throw my camera on here. I know it's locked. You can even twist this so that it's fully locked, so you can't even release it until you unlock it. So this kind of ensures that no one's going to steal it, no one's going to grab your camera and run. I know in some other cities, especially I've heard like in London and Paris, that camera theft is on the rise, where people will just walk up and grab your camera and run with it. And I've even heard of people having their straps just cut off of their bodies while they're walking. Like someone will just walk up and cut their strap off and steal their camera. So I like this because it's pretty much impossible to get the camera out of this unless you're the one wearing it. So this is a great accessory if you're traveling or walking in a city. So that is pretty much it for my camera bag this year. This year I really downsized my gear. I'm trying to be more thoughtful about what I take with me so I can focus more on content. I'm also just sick of hauling around 50 pounds of camera gear wherever I go. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions on any of the gear that I showed from this bag, if you have any thoughts or comments about the way I use this bag or this gear, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.